it's Rachel with Mary, and today she and I are going to work on taking treats nicely. So Mary really likes her food, and she's not aggressive at all. She's very treat motivated. She's just naturally kind of a chompy dog, and with a dog her size, that can be a problem, and it can make it difficult to give her treats nicely, or for her to take treats nicely because she's so focused on it. So I want to work on a few ways for her to learn to do it nicely and the right way to do it. Instead of just seeing food and being frantic and having to get it, she will learn the proper and respectful way, just kind of give her some manners and some self-control with the treats. She's a little bit more urgent with getting the treats than Sam is, so he should still work on it too, so that they both know it, just in case. But when you do it and practice it, just like with most of the other things, you should really focus on it separately. Because if you have treats that you're giving out, both dogs are going to get super worked up. They have that pack mentality, and then by having another dog there, that brings in some competition. And so that competition can make them more frantic to get it and really snap, and unfortunately your fingers are in the way, so that can be a problem for you. So we want to address these things now and never let them get away with just snapping and taking treats again. So you can use whatever word you like. For starting out with the training, I'm going to use nicely or gently, something like that. I'll stick with nicely, and I'll have the treat kind of in my hand. So if you can see it like this, I have the treat in there and it's not sticking up out of my fingers, so that way I'm not giving it to her like this where my fingers can get chomped easily. The whole thing is kind of protected, and also the treat is back a little bit, so she can't quite get it with her teeth. She'll want to try more with her tongue. So I'm going to offer her the treat like this at first, see how it works, and just repeat nicely, nicely, in kind of a sharper tone so it gets her attention. Since she's already going to be super focused on the food, saying nicely, nicely, and kind of your high-pitched, sing-song voice that we use with the dogs. We want something, it's more of a correction, so we want something a little bit sterner to get her attention. Now, when she stops using her teeth and it's just tongue and she's just licking it, then I'll kind of push the treat up with my index finger, oops, that fell, so that she's able to get it. I don't want to just, take it out then and then give it to her like this and make her kind of chomp on it again. So if you hold it like this, then just kind of push it up with your index finger. She'll go from licking, she'll be able to get it up with her tongue. So let's try this with Miss Mary. Mary, come here. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Okay, Mary. Nicely. You can see how her body language changed. I said nicely. She kind of put her ears back and the tongue came out. So that tone what is effective for her. So Mary, come here. Sit. Nicely. Nicely. Good girl. Good girl, Mary. Good job. That was really good. So she really paid attention to that. I'm really surprised to see how well she did there. I said nicely, and she was just doing all licking. If you feel any teeth, you just say, That's a no noise. It really gets her attention. I just had to do that once, and she was really good about it. So, here we go. Mary, come here. Mary, sit. Sit. Good girl. Nicely. 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 Good job. Good nicely, Mary. That was so nice. Good girl. Okay. That was really good again. So I just want to practice maybe 2 or 3 more times in the same way of telling her nicely, so she starts to associate the word with what she's doing in order to get the treat. What gets her the treat, which is the good behavior. Then we want to move forward to giving her the treat in other ways, like open hand without her chomping too much. And it would be nice if we could just, not think about how her hand is around the treat and just give her a treat without being worried about her chomping a bit too hard. So, Mary, sit. sit. We'll just practice a few more times. Sit. No, sit. Good girl. Practice a few more times so she starts to get that word association. Mary, nicely. 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 Good girl. Good job. So nice. So nice, Miss Mary. Okay, again, she responds really well to the Teeth go right back in and are put away as soon as I use that. Now it's working really well to have the treat like this and just push it up with my index finger. And so that way she can just lick it up and teeth don't have to be used at all. Mary. Nicely. Nicely. Good, nicely. Good job, Mary. Good job. Now, dogs also really like practicing this because the whole point of the exercise is to give them food. So especially with a super treat motivated dog like Mary, this isn't work, this isn't training, this is just jackpot, or a buffet, I should say. Mary, nicely. Good girl, so nice. Good girl, so nice. Good job. One more time for good luck, and then we'll move on to another way. Nicely. Nicely. So nice, good girl. Good girl, Miss Mary. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to try to give it to her, like have the treat in my hand, then open my hand like this. So, in order for me to open my hand, she's got to do nice kisses, just licks, and then I'll open. Hopefully she won't have too much teeth going. Now, a lot of times, if you are worried about her kind of nipping your hand, it's natural to kind of like be hesitant to open up your hand all the way because you're a little nervous, but that just gives her more stuff to accidentally pinch between her teeth. So as soon as she licks it, open your hand up nice and flat like that so she can just get it. If her teeth are out at all, it just grazes the top and it's not actually coming down on anything. This is the same way you give treats to horses, nice flat hand to avoid having anything up that could get bit. So it's the same kind of idea. So be brave and open your hand up super flat for her to get. So Mary, sit. Good girl. Nicely. Nicely. Good girl. Good girl. So nice. All right, that worked perfectly with her. Absolutely great. Hand popped open as soon as she started licking nicely, and the treat was right there for her. Now you'll see that I tell her nicely before I even bring the treat in front of her nose. That's because I want her to know what I'm going to do and what's expected. So ask first before the temptation is there. So I'm giving her the command so she knows how to act instead of me giving her the treat, her accidentally chomping me, and me correcting her there. We're just setting her up for success. Come here, sit. Good girl. Nicely. Nicely. Good girl. So nice. Good girl. So she got a little bit frantic on that last one, but there weren't any teeth, so that's good. Mary. Nicely. Nicely. Good girl. So nice. Now I'm going to try fingertips. Mary. Nicely. 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 Good girl. Okay, still a little rough there. Now these treats are small training treats. We suggest super tiny, soft treats like this for training, so it's super easy for them to eat and swallow. They're super flavorful. They don't have to sit there crunching it for a long time, so you can move on with your training super quick. So I have a little bit longer treat here, and so what I'm going to do is have that kind of down in my hand so she can bite off little bits of it like that. We'll see how she does. Mary, sit. Girl, nicely. Now she can actually see the treat sticking out, so I notice she's her body language is a little bit different, so we'll see how she does. Nicely. Nicely. Good girl. Good girl. So nice. So nice, Mary. Okay, so she's really come a long way with this. My my fingers are all intact, so that's really good to see, and she's doing a very great job with it. So I need to remember to always tell her nicely in the rest of our training before I give her the treat, to save my fingers, and then for you to do it the same at home and be consistent with her so that she always has good manners when taking treats. This was Rachel and Mary, and we are working on taking treats nicely.